Oh, 20 people at once. Cool.
I already see some N26 people.
I can see some familiar faces. Yeah, cool. I just wanted to show you, by the way, that I have N26 card and I have N26 application. I do not use it actually now because I'm not in Germany anymore and I cannot top up it. But yeah, at least when I was working in one of the Ukrainian banks and we started developing application from scratch, I installed your application and I'm admitting someone. Okay, I need to turn off waiting. I cannot turn off waiting room, unfortunately. Yeah. So
do you
I
need to accept people?
Yeah, I will be letting people.
Okay, yeah. So hi all, thanks for joining today. So we are waiting like 5 minutes for 2-3 more minutes for everyone to join and we'll start. Yeah, I also glad to see people joining and some familiar faces and even colleagues that that couldn't join but still joined. So Maria, it's for you saying hi. Yeah, and today we have guests from Berlin. I'm super excited that they joined and that they would contribute to our David research community. Yeah, it's super cool that we have like guests from abroad and they would share their experience. As well, it's very cool that they are working in very popular not only in Germany but fintech project N26. I know that people that are working with fintech sphere knows a lot about it. So. And getting the I forgot the word, like they getting inspired by N26 as well. Yeah, today we would have like some kind of collaboration. So we would have some information from girls and they would tell more about their project, about themselves, about their approach, and as well we would have time for questions. So just post your question in the chat during their like speech, and if you're brave enough, just raise your hand after the speech and we would have a Q&A session, and just turn on your mic and ask everything that you want to ask about this approach, about the project, about y'all's experience. Yeah, that's all probably. We would also have, so we would have approximately 30-40 minutes for the information from the girls about this approach that they're using, and they would also have some part of like collaboration interaction with us. So please be active and join and collaborate, because like the aim of our meeting today is to share our experience and to know about new approaches and like to get acquainted. So yeah, so please be active, collaborate and ask questions and share your experience.
Yeah, and I also want to say that today we have a kind of lottery among participants who donate. I will give you the link where to donate to Ukrainian army, minimum 200 hryvnias, please. At least this is like €5. And the winner will get a mentorship session with our beloved Daria Ivashchenko, the founder of R9 community. So now I'm sending the link in the chat. You can, where is the chat? Okay, I need to find the chat.
Yeah, and we would have a raffle before Q&A session, and the winner would get a mentorship with Daria.
Yeah. So let's help Ukrainian army, and somebody will also be lucky to talk to Daria Ivashchenko later. Okay, I'm done with lottery.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I think we could start our presentation.
Amazing. Thank you, Irina. Thank you, Anastasia. So let me share my screen to get started. And hi, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you can see my screen. Looks
Yeah.
like amazing. Yeah, so today we want to give you an introduction about a framework that we use with Aleksandra at N26. It's called the Opportunity Solution Tree. But first of all, I'm sure you may wonder who we are. So I am Emilie and I'm a user researcher. I come from France and I'm based in Berlin. I've been in N26 since more than 4 years, soon 5 years actually. I started in the customer service and then after a year, less than a year, I saw a presentation from a few researchers actually from the company, and it kind of sparked my curiosity, and I understood that I really wanted to learn more about it, and this is how, yeah, all it started for me, and to go through the UX journey and discipline and join a community. So yeah, maybe Alex can tell more about her too.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex. I come from Serbia and now I'm currently in Berlin. I came here almost a year ago, 2 years ago when I started working for N26. A bit about myself is that, so I'm in N26 for around 2 years and in the UX of 4 to 5 years, something like that. I have a dog. I don't know, you can just ask me later if you have any questions. And yeah, I do product design now in N26 in the crypto team, working with Emilie from day one. Okay, you can take over.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so we, as Alex mentioned, we both work closely together in the crypto team at N26. And a bit more about N26, if you don't know. So N26, it's a mobile bank. We are based in Germany. And so our vision is to change the world's relationship with money for the better. And we have for a mission to build the bank the world loves to use. We have more than 8 million customers across 24 markets in Europe. And yeah, inside of the company, we are a bit more around 1,500 employees. We're all coming from very various and diverse backgrounds and nationalities. So yeah, that's about N26, and we also wanted to briefly share with you our journey at N26 with Alex. As we were mentioning, we've been working since Alex joined on the crypto project, and so we kind of opened the opportunity space of investment within N26, and I think also that's why we are bringing the topic of Opportunity Solution Tree today. And beginning of this year, we launched the crypto product, and we already iterated on the MVP on the product, and we also proudly reached out the organization targets the first year of this year. So it has been a really great ride, and you can also see on the left side how the product looks like today. Cool. So we also wanted to give you a heads up that we prepared a few questions along the presentation so that you are, also participating and it's not just us talking. So just to see that everyone's understand and see where it is, we're going to use the emoji reaction on your Zoom bar of the call. And so, yeah, based on the question, you will answer with the emoji of the correct answer. So maybe just to give it a go and a try, you can give me a thumb up with the emoji reaction. Amazing. Cool. Nice. So, okay, let's get started, people. So as designers and researchers, we believe that our goal is to create a meaningful impact in people's lives, right? But sometimes it doesn't go as smooth as we would like. And as you may have experienced maybe yourself, we can encounter difficulties in gaining clarity and also structure while attempting to understand what are the user needs and also framing the problem. So you may ask yourself, okay, where do I start? Did we think about everything? And then sometimes we rush also into brainstorming sessions and we are proposing solution without fully understanding what is the root problem. And unfortunately, sometimes it leads to, wasting time, misalignment, or even missed opportunities. So what do we do about it? We want to bring some magic because we need this, and to organize this whole space about the user needs and the problem we're trying to solve. And this magic that we want to introduce today is the opportunity solution tree, as you may have guessed. This is not a framework that we came up with. It's a framework that has been created from Teresa Torres. She's talking about it in her book, Continuous Discovery. So that's what we want to talk about today. So the plan for today, briefly, in the first part, I'm going to talk about the opportunity space of the tree. Alex will talk about the solution space, and we'll finish by talking about the culture of experimentation related to this. Cool. So you may wonder what it is. So how can we define opportunity solution tree? So it is a tool for in order to reach a desired outcome by addressing user needs. And those user needs are what we call opportunities. So you will see, like, we may both with Alex use the term like opportunity or user needs, but we're talking about the same basically. Yeah, before we start digging into the opportunity space, this is like to give you an idea of like how the overall structure can look like. So you come from the top with the desired business outcome. Then you have the first level, which is the opportunity space, so the user needs I'm mentioning. You can have multiple layers actually within this opportunity space. And then the bottom level is the solution space. So before going into this, it is quiz time already, people, to see if we did not lose some of you already. So first question is, what is the main idea behind the opportunity solution tree? And you can give me your best emoji here. Amazing. Yes. Exactly. So the main idea behind it, as I just explained, it's a tool for mapping opportunities and potential solutions. So now, okay, we understand, I hope we all understand what is the overall purpose and what does it mean. So how do we start? How do we build this tree? So we divided this in 4 main steps to build the tree. So the first one is to set the outcome. The second one is to collect opportunities, so user needs. The third one is to connect those opportunities into smaller tree that you will always try to connect up to the top of the tree, which is the desired outcome. So that's the last main step for building the tree. So I'm going to go step by step and trying to be as clear as possible. Also, let me know if where I'm going too fast. But let's get started with the first step, which is setting the outcome. So you need to ask yourself, what are you trying to achieve, right? So as a reminder, a business outcome, that's the end result, the end goal that comes from the company's strategies, choices, and decision, right? And so for today's example and presentation, we're going to take an example from a streaming platform. It's taken from the book of Teresa Torres. And so if we think about the streaming platform, the desired outcome could be increased viewing minutes. So that's the outcome we're going to stick to for the sake of the example and explaining to you how to build a tree and so on. So the next step is to collect those user needs, to collect the opportunities. So how do we do this and where they come from, basically? So those needs, you're going to be able to collect them from various user research, reports, all sorts of methods, really. Also from maybe your customer support department, where you can have reports, or maybe even transcripts from like chat or email. Also data analytics, but also market research, where you can find maybe studies or you know, any related benchmarking maybe that could help, like help you to collect insights basically about users. So how the opportunities look like ideally, this is like the yellow post-its here. So for example, again, taking the streaming platform, I want to be entertained. I want to do something with my friends. I don't know which TV show to watch. So it can be user needs, but also pain points, right? It's important. So that's the ideal format that we want to use, or that we use for building the tree. But sometimes it's not necessarily directly in this format, right? When you're reading reports, for example, it might be like more like shorter statements. It could be like more quantifying data. So for example, if you take this one, pulling out of a report, the top 3 criteria when choosing a TV show, let's take the third one, 13% popularity and buzz is, you know, part of choosing a TV show. Maybe you can transform it into the format of, oh, I want, as a user, I want to know what others are watching. So that would be like the ideal format for you to better understand how to match and also place those needs within the tree. Okay, so as soon as you collect those opportunities, now we're gonna start clustering them and grouping them so that we can build tiny trees. So it's all about the structure and the very base of the structure of the tree. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to find similar opportunities in terms of themes, in terms of characteristics, and this is what we call siblings opportunities. So if you take those, I want to watch my shows on my flight, and I want to watch my shows on my train commute, you see that it's very similar, right? So that's why we call siblings opportunities. And then as soon as you have lots of siblings, you're gonna need to find a parent opportunity. So it's gonna be a bit more like high level, and then like this, you can differentiate those layers and like the hierarchy also between those opportunities. So here in this case, it will be, I want to watch my shows on the go. And you may wonder, like, how do you make sure to, you know, to match those siblings, like the child to the parents? And so you can think about this, this tip and this logic. It's, if I could watch my shoes on the flight, I would be able to watch my shoes on the go. So it's kind of like a logic that you can keep in mind to make sure that you're building the right structures. And of course, you can, you know, build up and add as many other siblings that you can find. Just, you know, make sure that sometimes when formulating those user needs, it's not more like a business wish. Like, for example, if you take, again, this example, like, I want to watch more Netflix. It's not something that a user is necessarily gonna say. It will be more like what the business wants to hear. So just also keep this in mind. But otherwise, those are the tiny trees that we are mentioning here, right? Those tiny structures. Cool. So as soon as you have those small trees, you're gonna continue until you reach the top of the tree being the desired outcome. And so the more you're going to practice, the more it will get easier. I know it seems a bit like complex right now and it's a lot of information, but if you take again the siblings I was just mentioning here, you see like the parent, and then it even relates to a different, like the top layer of opportunities, which is here. And here we have the outcome, right? So the top layer here, just so you know, you can see this as very related to the customer journey, the user experience. For example, here it's like, I need something to do. So you can think about this as like pre-experience. While I can't find anything to watch, I'm watching a show. It's more like during the experience, and my show ended is more like towards the end of experience, like post experience. So this is kind of like also a way to help you to map, those different opportunities within the tree, and kind of give you a bit of structure. I also wanted to say that there is no right or wrong answers. Like, I know it seems like there is like specific steps and specific structure, but at the end, it's really a common agreement with your team and open discussion. As like the outcome, it's something that you need to decide with your team, right? And as it's the same for the opportunities, you also need to see what makes more sense and see the common ground here. Cool. So to summarize, because I know it was already a lot, first is setting the outcome. The outcome, you're setting this with your team. It will depend, on your company strategies. The second one is to collect the opportunities, which is the user needs. The third one is to start connecting the opportunities into like tiny structures, tiny trees, to then make it up to the top, to the desired outcome. Cool. So time for quiz, people. First question is, how do you start building a tree? Give your emojis. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so by defining the outcome and collect opportunities. Exactly. So why is it important to cluster similar opportunities together? Nice. Cool. Yeah. So why is it important? It's simply to help identify those patterns. So the similar themes or similar characteristics are related to among the opportunities. What do we mean by siblings opportunities? Okay. Yes, exactly. So that's what I was mentioning earlier. So similar characteristics again, and making sure that they relate to each other, basically. And there is no right or wrong answers here. It's just like out of curiosity, we wanted to know with Alex, what is your favorite method of learning about user needs? So about like, collecting those opportunities. It could be also something else. So you can also put in the chat, in the comment. But those are just a few examples, and we're just curious about what you would preferably use. Cool. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm gonna pass over to Alex, and she's gonna talk about the solution space.
Okay, now I just need to learn how to share my screen. Did you select any specific option so that you can see everyone while you're looking at the presentation, or?
No, no worries. So you share the tab, and then within Google Slides, I just put like, what's the name? I put like presenter view within the...
Okay, just a second then.
Aleksandra, what you're asking, I think it is predefined. So you just try and it should be the same, I think.
Give it a try.
Okay, let's give it a try. You see this now?
Yes, but we see the
wrong thing.
Huh?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know what you see. Okay, so we're going now into the solution space. Mic is good. You see the presentation, so we're good to go.
Yes, we're good.
So now is the part where we are solving for these opportunities, and we found our business outcome. We went through the opportunity space, we built the tree, and now we're going into the solution space. And when we're trying to solve now is we have to go through prioritizing the opportunity, which one we want to tackle. Then we're going into ideation, the fun part, and then we're experimenting. And now the first thing is prioritizing an opportunity. And this is a messy process because sometimes we can have a tree that has 100 opportunities. It can grow quite big. You can have 5, 6, 7 things on top. Usually they represent like these steps in the user journey. They can have 5 levels, and it can be quite a lot. So you don't want to go into solving each one of them. We first need to find out which one is bringing the most impact. So we do this by asking questions. We want to understand from different perspectives how many customers is this opportunity impacting? How often is this happening? How will it affect our position on the market? Will it make us different from the competition? Is there any threats related to this opportunity in the market? How well is it aligned with the goals of our company? How important is it to our customers? Is there like a big gap of user need that is unmet? So we have all of these questions, and we're trying to pit all the opportunities against each other. Please don't open Excel spreadsheet and don't start typing in like a formula where you are having like the market size 1 to 4 and something like that, because this is not what we're trying to achieve. This is very subjective, contrasting opportunities against each other with your team. So it's a healthy debate. You're already knowledgeable about the problematics of it, and you know enough to talk to your team what is better. And there's no right or wrong answer. You can always go back on another opportunity. This is experimenting. So how do we do this? We start from the top. We have to move through branches, and first we go from the parent branch. And in this specific example, I chose I can't find anything to watch. For example, I was reading some reports from Emilie, and she said, hey, we have detected that a lot of people have got stuck in the browsing part of the experience, and they can't find anything to watch and they drop off. And we believe that this is like a very crucial thing to the success of a streaming business. So we say, okay, let's go to this parent. And we believe that the opportunity that we want to tackle is inside of this branch. So this is not like we know that this is it. We believe that this is the highest chances and the least risk. Now we go down and we pit opportunities against each other. We check stats, we do this, we do that. And we find out that a lot of people can't find the categories that they want to watch. And then, for example, we went through the searching queries inside of our streaming platform, and we found search queries. What were people searching for? And we learned that a lot of people wanted to watch sports. So our target opportunities in this case is, I want to watch sports. Again, saying this is not the right answer. This is just something the team has agreed on to solve. So we're not committing to addressing it or just launching a product for sports. We just want to explore it in this discovery process. So this whole thing that we're doing is discovery. We're going to explore this idea. So the next part, the ideation that we were mentioning, is the fun part that a lot of people are already knowledgeable about, and quantity definitely leads to quality in this case. We first need to make sure that the whole team is on the same page when it comes to this opportunity, that everyone believes that this is the right opportunity, that we have all the data that we have, that we discussed it already, and then we can go into ideating. You can use how might we use storyboarding, sketching, mind mapping, whatever you want, anything goes. And we gather as many ideas as possible. Sometimes I would suggest 15 to 20 ideas to boost your creativity. It is suggested not to just do brainstorming like that. You ideate alone so that you can just throw out all the ideas that you might have. And then you share the ideas with your team. You exchange ideas, and then you go again into ideating alone, because you build upon each other's ideas and you get new ideas from what other person said. And also incubation period, it's very important. You know that you get sometimes very good ideas when you're taking a shower or you're in the bus. So you can also spread out your ideation in 2 days, or you can spread it one session in the morning and one in the evening. So let people think it through, like let it ferment in the head. Okay. The next step is you have all these ideas, and then you let your team dot vote. Everyone gets 3 votes, and they vote to how well does the idea target the opportunity. So in our case, I want to watch sports. We might say, how might we allow users to watch sports? And then people are voting which idea is the best for them that is targeting this opportunity. We get 3 ideas that are the best. In our case, the first one is we just put simple links to some external provider for sports. They leave our website and they go somewhere else. The second one is we provide live sports. So we embed some ESPN, Fox Sport, and NBC Sports. We embed it into our website, some live channels. And the third one is we make a completely separate streaming service for sports. So let's say Netflix, and then we have Netflix Sports. So these are the 3 ideas. Why do we have 3 ideas? This is very important. Usually, if you have only one idea, you tend to cherry pick information from your research to just confirm it and just go with it, because you have this escalation of commitment. You commit to one idea, and then it's really hard to let go. And the more you investigate it, the more committed to it you become. But we actually want to be ready to give up on an idea if it doesn't work. And that's why we have 3. Which one of these ideas is tackling the opportunity in the best way? We now have to decide what we want to do with this. So from all these 3 ideas, linking, embedding, creating a new service, all of them are allowing people to watch sports. But which one is the best for helping them find the right category, and then giving them something to watch? And then in the end, the most important for us, what is going to increase our viewing minutes the most? And you can assess these 3 ideas. Now you go a bit deeper into it, right? So you can assess these ideas by simple impact effort matrix. You can do it with the RICE scoring, anything else that you like. There are different factors that you can use for it: feasibility, viability, usability, desirability, how ethical it is. So we now need to choose which one to go with. And sometimes that's not that easy. This is where experimenting comes into place. Some ideas are very straightforward, but sometimes, like these 3 ideas, they are a bit risky, and we want to minimize risk. We don't want to just go into an idea and launch it and then see if it works, because there's a lot of resources spent. A lot of developers worked on it. The designers spent hours and hours, and we're just not going to go into one of them immediately. We want to minimize risk. And yeah, the obvious idea is not that obvious. We need to investigate it further. But we're not investigating the idea itself completely. We're uncovering the assumptions behind the idea that we are making. And we're doing this for each idea. In this case, I picked this providing users with live sports. So ESPN, Fox Sports, it's going to be embedded. Some assumptions that I just randomly picked out is we're assuming that users want to watch live sports. Is it true? We don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Another one is that users will know how to find live sports on our website. Another one we are able to charge enough fees to cover the expenses of this endeavor. Then we have technical capabilities to provide live streaming content on our website. And the last one is that users are fine with sharing their personal data with the third parties. And you can have 100 of these or 200 of these. There's so many underlying assumptions behind any ideas that we might have. And they can be clustered into these 5 categories. This is also from the book, but I'm pretty sure that there is more categories out there. So desirability, the users want it, usability, viability, feasibility, ethnical assumptions. And all of these can be tested. You don't test the idea, will the providing users with live sports work? You're testing, do users want to watch live sports? You can do surveys, you can do a fake door test, a bunch of tests. And here it is, some tools. I don't want to go deeper into this, but some tools to help you uncover these assumptions is assumption smash, value proposition canvas, story mapping. You can conduct a pre-mortem. We can even discuss it later, but you do want to come up with a bunch of assumptions. And don't worry, you're not going to test all of them. So we want to get more information on just the riskiest assumptions, just to reduce risk and to decide, to help us decide which idea to pursue. To find which ones are riskiest, there's again another tool. Like everything, there is a way to prioritize everything. So in this case, we can use assumption matrix, and these riskiest ones are leap of faith assumptions. These are deal breaker assumptions. So you can Google it, or we can talk about it a bit later. And then when you find these most important assumptions, you can test them out with so many different tests. I would suggest maybe this book by David J. Bland. He has a lot of ideas inside how to test out different things. And what I'm trying to say is it's easier to test out these small things rather than just go for the whole idea and risk failing, like failing small and failing big. Okay, so what Teresa says in the book, and I just try to quote it directly, is that we're not trying to prove that the assumption is true. The burden is too much. We're just trying to reduce risk. So it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. It just have to be enough for the team to believe that this idea is gonna work. Okay, now when we reduce the risks and we finally found out which of these three ideas is the one, we launch and we measure. Of course, before this, you have to set up some metrics, some KPIs, something to help you measure and track your success. I'm not gonna elaborate on that much, but here is the good stuff. Let's go into a quiz. The first question is, how do you prioritize an opportunity in the opportunity solution tree? I can't see votes of a lot of people, but I see that some of you are already voting for assessing its potential impact. That's correct. Next. There is only one way to prioritize an opportunity, and you cannot go back on the decision. Okay. You can definitely go back, and this is the whole idea. You test these small assumptions, and if you just don't believe in it anymore, just go back, and that's it, done. Next one, why do we test assumptions? Amazing. I think that's no, it's not the last one. So last one, what is the last and very important step of this discovery process? I see some people want ice cream. Yeah, that is also very important. Okay. So the last thing, we're done now with, the whole cycle. The last thing that I would like to just have a small overview of is this whole culture of experimentation and why is it important, okay? So we want to say that failure is an option, and this is something that we really encourage, because when we try to do different stuff, when we fail, then we can learn, and then we can grow, and then we can innovate. And I think Emmy and I are very lucky to be a part of an organization that is allowing all this, that we have the resources to just go for it and test out different things. And here is just another view of this whole process that we were explaining today and how it works. So in the center of the whole thing is the opportunity solution tree that we were talking about. And around it is, so the first one is setting the outcome. Then we're collecting opportunities through these interviews, surveys, insights from data. Then we are prioritizing opportunities, which one we want to tackle. Then we are ideating the solutions. Then we're assessing these solutions, validating the assumptions, and then we go back into collecting opportunities, and it's just like a cycle. Every time we are testing something, we're using these learnings. Every time we make an interview, we update the opportunity solution tree. It's like a live thing that is constantly changing. It's not like a thing that you leave out there and that's like to frame it onto a wall. It's a live thing that constantly needs changing every time you make an interview or a new insight. And when you are sure about certain ideas and solutions, you go into refinement sessions, and then you go into building it. So the opportunity solution tree is a foundation for continuous discovery and this culture of experimentation that I was mentioning. For us, it's giving us a lot of things to work on and play with at all times. So it's a big tree, and we always can just pick out fruits from it to play with. And last but not least, it's enabling us to grow an outcome-driven mindset. And here are some books that I was mentioning throughout the presentation. The first one is This Continuous Discovery Habits by Teresa Torres. She created this whole framework with opportunity solution trees. The second one is a book that might be a good resource to find cool testing methods for business ideas. And the last one is cool for research when you don't have a lot of resources and you want to learn how to hack it. And I think it's good for designers to learn about research. So these are the books that we would recommend. And this is the last slide. I'm gonna give the mic to I think
me.
Yeah, to you. And yeah, I'm stopping.
Yeah, so before we jump to the questions, we will make our shuffle. I hope everybody who wanted already made their donations, because now I will start compiling the list for this shuffle. I will need about 1-2 minutes. So if you still want to donate but did not have time to do this, do it right now, or say it, I'm doing this, so that I do not forget you, okay? Okay, so I'm jumping to this preparation. Please, girls, continue, and in 1 minute I'll be back and we will make this shuffle.
Great. Well, I guess in this 1 or 2 minutes, you can just take some time to give us feedback, because this whole presentation is an experiment and we're trying to make it better. You can either use the QR codes or use the link below. We really appreciate it. It's boosting our confidence because we're suffering from imposter syndrome a lot.
Wow, it was great. Thanks. Thanks, girls, a lot. So yeah, we have like 2 minutes to make the donation and to write the question, or to, I don't know, to be ready to turn on the video and the mic and to ask the questions. Yeah, so you're also supported in the comments about the imposter syndrome. Yeah, so please write your questions or be ready to ask them. So we have some in the chat, and as well we have some with Nastya. So after this raffle, we would be ready for the questions.
Okay, I'm ready. So Aleksandra, can you stop sharing? I will share the screen. One moment, please. My Zoom has updated, and now it wants me to update the security settings.
in between, feel free to write down your questions in the chat. Yeah, we're happy to discuss, and yeah, there are no stupid questions. So
Okay, I will be back in a second because I need to rely on
no problem.
nice program that decided to update right now. I'll be back.
Yeah, and I have a question about questions. Are we allowed to ask anything not about opportunity three, but about N26? Like, do you have some legal issues answering these questions? So probably someone is from a fintech company and wants to ask or something about crypto. So could we ask such questions as well?
I mean, I guess you can, and then we decide if we can answer or not. We did get a media training.
Yeah, go for it. Ask your questions. No problem.
Cool. Okay, more hands now.
I'm terrified of questions, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry. So that we are like including this time to the questions. So, but now people start to add in them. So, yeah, after raffle we would start.
Okay, so I'm ready. By the way, I also donated and put myself. So Daria, maybe I will be your next mentee. Andrei Gubinsky, are you here? Are you here?
Tak.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Lucky person.
So yes, you are the lucky one. Dasha, are you here?
Yes, hey everyone.
Okay, so this is MH.
Yeah, and I'll keep in touch and arrange a mentoring session. Thank you for participating, everyone.
Yeah,
And our courses.
I wanted to find where is this, how much we raised now. So we have raised 6,000. Very well. Okay, good. Now I think we can proceed with the questions.
Yeah. I have a suggestion. We were planning to start with our question for Boromaba, but I see that there are already some raised hands and questions in the chat. So let's start from the raised hands. And if we have time, we would finish with our questions. Nice, okay? Cool. So the first one was Mert. So please go on.
Hello, thank you very much for the presentation. It was quite inspiring for me, especially for a person who is navigating in academia. I have two questions. One of them is related to initial step of identifying an outcome. Because as the first step, we are identifying the outcome, then we are collecting the user information, user data, and again, we are trying to reach the outcome. And it is the same outcome as we identified in the first place. Do you think that that outcome, the one that we reach later on, could be different based on the user findings or your evaluation as a designer? One of them is that. Shall I ask the second one also quickly?
Let's go one by one, not to forget it.
I think I can take this. So the thing is, the outcome is usually business driven. So you might have something like a KPI tree inside of your company, or OKRs, or some metrics that are on a very high level and that are not dependent on user needs. So for example, in crypto case, our main outcome is to increase the volume of transactions, because this is how you generate profits, right? So no matter what the user needs are, we're constantly trying to lead this outcome. But I do believe that outcome can change over time. And this is a negotiation with the top management and the team.
Thank you. And the second one is related to the user findings again. For example, as an example, we identified that a user wants to watch more sports, and then we find the encapsulating theme related to that. And then again, we go back to the initial finding and we explore the ideas related to watching sports. Is there are we doing it to identify opportunities to scale it? Yani, how can I ask why we are going again to do initial finding and why did we engage with the previous activities in terms of covering the greater pattern?
I'm not sure if I get it, but maybe you can reformulate like why. I know that you took like this idea of like watching the sport, but maybe you can reformulate your question again.
Okay. Yani we get the finding from the user that they want to watch sports. Then we engage with this beautiful mind mapping activity that, I cannot find the category I want. This is the upper category that we achieved. Then we find that I cannot watch anything. I cannot find anything to watch. This is a greater, let's say, category. Then again, we go back to the watching sports and started the idea generation session with watching sports. To what degree we are scaling the findings related to watching sports to the greater category of I cannot find anything I want to watch.
I'm not entirely sure how we're scaling. You mean like how are we solving the upper category by solving the one lower?
Yani, would it be, maybe I can ask it like this, could we start the idea generation directly with the initial user finding? I want to watch sports, instead of doing all this, trying to find the greater parent category activity? Do we really need them if we are going to engage directly with the finding coming from the user related to I want to watch more sports?
Yeah, but it's really hard then to connect to the outcome, right? Then you don't have this connection. You can't even track and measure how is that driving your profits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And a small suggestion for the brainstorming, I think it could be an interesting idea to create some matrices between the findings. For example, a user who would like to watch sports on the go. I think this could be an interesting way of approaching the opportunities area. Thank you.
I mean, everything is allowed. In the end, it's a Wild West with this, and whatever you decide, you do.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for the question. The next one was Igor.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Great. So my question was very simple. Are you using like a Miro template or some other tool that is ready for each new session, let's say? Or you just have a huge board or whatever tool that you use? I'm just interested in what kind of what do you use in your processes? That's basically it.
Yeah. So I mean, when you say new sessions, do you mean like when we go in experimentation and we do more research? Is what you mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're continually working on one product, right? And you're building. So I'm just working like for the same project. Every iteration of like so what template do you use? Do you have just one file that you work in from like for months, or you have some kind of template? Okay, we're doing this again. Let's use the template. That's
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, so we're always trying to relate to the same bigger Figma file, let's say. But of course, like per project or per session, as you say, like we can have a separated templates or separated documents, but at the end the goal the end goal is really to relate to this bigger opportunity solution tree that we keep in one file. But you definitely need to embrace the messiness, because it can become quite complex and big. So you also need to make sure, I think it relates also to how often do you need to update it and to need to come back to it. But at least for us, we tend to go back to the same file.
Yeah, just to add something, so if I wanted to do it by myself, right, from scratch, could I use something that you use in essence? Like, is there a file that you can share for someone who is just about to start using this kind of process? That's basically the question.
I see. Well, it's not a template. We use FigJam in N26. It's similar to Miro. And what we do is, well, initially for this our opportunity solution tree, we had on whiteboard, we went to the office and we brainstormed right there. And then we would just type in little boxes all the opportunities. And then we were playing around with them and connected them with those lines. So I wouldn't suggest any template, because not two opportunity solution trees, they can't be the same. But there's an outcome, and then you just connect the opportunities below. You can spend hours reorganizing them, and it's never going to be perfect. So it's just like an exercise. Okay, thanks for the question. It's a cool question.
Cool, thanks. And there was another hand. Alex, I guess.
Yes, thank you for an amazing presentation. It was really cool. So I have a question. So from my experience, it's always like the devil's in the detail in details when you work with different frameworks. And probably you can share what was your thing, where did you find challenges while working with this framework, and probably some unexpected things when you started in the beginning, and then you find out, well, okay, how we can manage this, and what was its challenges? Thank you.
Sure. Maybe I can start, and Alex, you can add on. But I think what's the most challenging part is to get started with it, because it's for us it was very new, and we were kind of like learning about the framework and how to put it in practice, as in parallel, like reading about Teresa Torres' book. So it was really like a back and forth thing. And as Alex mentioned, like we were a lot in the office to see each other face to face, and to have more like concrete thing to write on. And I think the challenges we had, it was maybe misalignment at the beginning, because I feel like we were understanding in different ways. And that's also what I was mentioning earlier, that, there are no right or wrong answers and what way to do it, but at least you need to have a common agreement with your team. So I think that was the most challenging part. And as soon as we got, like this logic of, if I could XYZ, I would be able to XYZ. I think it really helped us to build on those, like, small structure to build in the bigger one. And so I would say that was one of the challenge to get the methods, and because you can understand it, but putting in practice, it's always different, right? And I would say also one of the challenges, it's maybe like time. I don't want to say time consuming because it sounds negative, but it requires a lot of time, right? So if you're tight in capacity or in time in general, maybe it won't be the best methods you need to get started with. So that's the main challenge I have top of mind.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned in some moment misalignment and understanding it differently. For us in our team, who did it is Emilie, the researcher, me, designer, and the product manager. And I have a feeling like we understood it differently, and that was the biggest friction point for all of us. So I believe if you want to include other people in this, you can start alone. You can start alone and try it out. But if you want to introduce other people, it's very important to teach them first what it is and how it works. and only then you go into the exercise.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for the questions. Is anyone else that wants to ask a question? Okay, so because we have lots of also questions in the chat, so we will try to pick several ones because yes, first of all, lots of people saying thanks for the great presentation and asking if you have any open positions for researchers in your company. So yeah, so there was a slide with LinkedIn, so I think that you could add follow girls in LinkedIn and ask this question about being hired. And so the questions, there are several similar questions about implementing this approach in the company, how to persuade to use it. And if everyone just someone is newbie to this approach, how they could sell it to their top managers or colleagues.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, I think it's at least to me, it relates a lot to advocating for, you know, like this user-centric approach that at the end this framework, you know, is trying to do. So yeah, and I think also like maybe involving it's a collaborative process. So if you involve as much as possible the cross-functional team and maybe your top managers, right? Then maybe you can have more leverage and you know, sell this framework better. So yeah, I feel like collaboration, so involving people and also, you know, managers, but also you can also start small, right? You don't need to go through the whole process. Maybe you can start small and making sure that you're showcasing the value, and you know, it's not coming out of nowhere, right? It's related to the company strategy, it's data driven. So I think you can kind of put those pros on your side to kind of like sell the process. But I guess, yeah, educating and advocating is always a big one around it.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't wait for permission. I would either start alone and test it out, or I would find my team to try it out with. So you usually need someone who is advocating for the users. You might find someone from the tech side. Also, it might be helpful to have someone on that side, someone from the business side, to give you all these different perspectives. So just don't wait for permission, just go for it and then show the results. Because it's also in N26, this is not a usual approach where the CEO told us, hey, just use the opportunity solution tree. It actually came from our PM. And he said, hey, look at this book, it's kind of cool, let's try it out. And then we went for it. So I guess don't wait for someone else, just try it out.
Yeah.
At least you keep the knowledge with yourself.
Exactly. And I wanted to add also, because I saw in the chat Julia's question that was related, is this tree a part of everyone's standard process to launch new features, and does it compete, you know, like is it something that leadership wants? And I mean, we partially answered, right? It was our own initiative, and I think if you are able and you have the capacity, you know, to push for it, and with partners it's always better than alone, then go for it. But no, it's not a standard process at N26, I would say.
Can I also ask a quick follow-up question?
Yeah. I just want to say that we have a hand. Yeah.
Again, how often do you do this? Does it like a thing that was like tested once? Is it something that you come back to? Do you kind of like update the tree regularly? What is it like?
Yeah, we do continuously update it. And so we made our first tree before the product was launched. And now we're trying to make a big update of the tree now that the product is launched and we have new information on like numbers, and we're constantly doing like user interviews and putting in new opportunities inside. So it's a very live thing, and it evolved a lot since like a year and more. So it's a live thing.
Thank you.
There was some questions from Maria, and if you already have your video, Maria was
honestly, I have one more question now. Hello, thank you. It's funny that we are together, although we are like different organizations and everything. My initial question was, how do you leverage different probably user types or archetypes? Because I saw that it's messy. So my instant idea was like of splitting it. And then I said, oh, it might be a way to prioritize opportunities at the same time. So I was wondering if you already solved this problem. Did you work with it?
I actually investigated this thing because I was very curious, because there's different types of crypto traders, but also in some other companies, you might have different types of users, for example, customer support, and then on the other side, user. And I was reading about it, and it says that basically if you really have such different target audiences that have different needs, usually you can start again from the top, and then you can make a layer where you say, okay, customer support or user, or let me give an example. You have some needs related to browsing the internet, and you might have a user that is using Chrome, user that is using Brave, user that is using Internet Explorer, and they might have different needs. So you can just make a layer in different color that is just connected, like, okay, for these users, then we branch out these, and then they can even connect back into the same need. Like maybe Brave browser user and Firefox have the same need again, so you can connect them back. But if you see that most of them are connected to the same opportunity, you might say, okay, maybe we don't really need this layer of different users. Again, it's a decision with the team. Should you separate it or not? Should you create this additional complexity or not? So it's again like, I don't know, guessing what's the best option with a team.
Cool. Yeah, it does sound inspiring, and have a desire to improvise with it a little. And the second one is super short. You said that it's messy and you were working with the like whiteboard, but do you link or track what is the source of truth so you can come back to it and dive deeper?
Yeah, we do try to link as much as possible from the sources. So it's mainly from user research, right? But it's going to be coming also from our data analytics team. It adds, you know, a layer of again additional time to do this. But I think, as you said, it's important to be able to come back to the sources. But still constantly updating, and we're definitely always working on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. We have a research repository, and sometimes I just pick out the opportunities from there. Yeah. I trust myself. You know, I know where to find it if I need this information. We're keeping a very nice, organized research repository.
Yeah, I think also because the fact that we are doing this within crypto, you know, at the end it's a small team, but for sure if, you know, people from like other product domains are coming to our file, like they might find it messy, but it's like our own logic organization, but and structure, but for sure there is always improvement to do, and yeah, it's not perfect.
Cool. This was a really inspirational meetup, and your experience is inspiring. And this is no surprise that so many people upvoted the question about UX research position in Berlin. Because really what you said about the culture that allows you to fail and to try and test and to show your best and to shine, this is really cool. We are happy in our community that we had a chance to talk to you, to connect to you. I think we will send also on our we will post your contacts, LinkedIn contacts. Are you okay with this in our social media? And I just dropped in the chat a link to our Telegram community because mostly all the action is happening there. So if you are new to the community, please join. And thank you very much for the questions. I remember how this meetup started, and I can feel how more mature is our UX community now. So yeah, cool. Thank you very much, and see you on our next meetups. And we will record this meetup, and it will be out on YouTube, but maybe some days later. Okay, this is time to say goodbye. Bye-bye.
Thank you much, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.